there are three general parameters in terms of ranking. The first is the size, the scope of the risk, right? I mean, how large it would be in terms of impact globally when it hits. The second is the likelihood. And the third is the imminence. And you put those three things together and you get a pretty good sense of what the ranking should be. And so no surprise that Independent America was number one. Now, you'll notice that terrorism isn't a risk in this report. And that's because, I have less of an interest in giving people headlines that are in the news as opposed to having a report that helps people really understand what the underlying drivers are for global stability and instability, hence technology in the Middle East, which is much more of the underlying issue that is creating a Middle East that doesn't work anymore, that's tearing apart the social contract, that creates legitimacy among Middle Eastern governments, and that, of course, is giving rise to a host of radicalism emanating from the Middle East, broadly speaking, and increasingly going into other parts of the world. I think if you understand that, you'll be much better sense of what the risk is than anything else. Now, Turkey itself is a decent-sized economy, and it's doing incredibly poorly right now. And you see the lira continuing to go through the floor, and investments are definitely getting pushed out. But at the end of the day, what happens in Turkey? How much do people in Japan really care? The answer is not very much. So as a consequence, it's only number 8. South Africa's only number 10. You could make a good argument that South Africa could be tossed off the list for something else that we decided to keep away this year. It's that when you get down to the bottom risk on the list, it becomes a little bit more of a judgment call.